The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live. We're here every Wednesday, whatever today is. At what are we at? 2:00 Pacific. And if you've got a question, you can jump in our Facebook group and ask. You can email support@growmycleaningcompany.com and ask, or we're trying a new thing today. I think somebody asked a question on Instagram that we're putting in the mix. So if you want to hang, that's where you go. And if you want anything at all on how to grow your cleaning company, we've got tons and tons of free resources at growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out. Lindsay, hit us with a question, lady.
All right. So I actually had a little conversation on Facebook with Tatiana Martinez, and I asked her to clarify her question. But Tatiana is having problems with the cleaning tech, went out and tried to bid her own jobs, and then had the audacity to ask Tatiana to help her clean those jobs. But she's already working for Tatiana. So Tatiana wants to know, Mike, how would you deal with this situation?
That's a really good question. So I'd like to think I wouldn't get into this situation. So let's talk about how to not get there, which is the better answer. And then we'll answer Tatiana's question. She's like, well, I'm here. So all that what crap I could have done in the past, not wildly helpful. So first and foremost, the foundation, or one of the foundations of what we teach is core values-based hiring. So you want to hire people that are a core values match. So for us, it's have fun, make money, be real, and help out. Now, that doesn't mean I find people that don't share those values and try and beat them into submission. I find people, or I kind of attract people because I live those values out loud, who go, I'm digging that vibe and I've got that vibe. Why don't we vibe together to this, great thing that we're doing here? So I don't have to try and make them be a certain way. I just attract people who are already that way. So I don't think there's a way you could want to have fun, help out, be real, make money, and be like, I'm going to steal your clients, because that wouldn't be very real. It's not very fun. It's not helpful to, I guess he might be like, oh, it helps me, but we mean help out to like others and then make money. Might you make more money short term? Maybe, but I think long term, screwing people over is not a great way to make money. So I'm sure it's possible. I don't think it's a good plan. So I would always look to the culture first, and then, because if we talk about how to fix the problem, it's like, well, how do I put out this fire? Like, well, let's talk about that. But if this is your third fire in a week, maybe we should look at some fire prevention systems as well as some putting out fires. So that's where I'd go first and foremost. I'd look at, do I have a clear set of values I'm hiring by? Am I only accepting people that meet those values? Am I living those values in my business? And if the answer is yes, you're not going to have these problems. Okay. Now on to Tatiana's like, yeah, all super helpful for everyone, not me, but what do I do? I'm going to probably own that to start with. When they come to you looking for help, either they're insane and shameless, which is possible, but unlikely, or they really didn't understand. Like they're like, hey, you got this thing, it's a side hustle, or you got this and I got my thing. And you weren't clear about what is okay or not okay. So if I hadn't made that clear, right? Like I always use dating examples because everybody gets it. If I'm dating someone and I'm madly in love and she's dating other guys, but we hadn't had that conversation, and I just assumed that's because that's what I wanted, that everyone wants what I want, that's on me, right? Now, if we had that conversation and she's like, absolutely just you, and she dated other guy, well, that's a different kettle of fish, right? So I'm going to just own what I can own. Was I clear? And not, she should have known. That's not you being clear. She should have known I didn't want her dating other guy. Maybe, but I could have also said something, right? So was I clear? And if I wasn't clear, I'm going to own that. Hey, Tatiana's employee, my bad. I should have been clear that if you're going to work here, and again, if they're not your customers, I think Lindsay's got other clients, not my clients. That would be a problem, but she's got other things, and that's great. And sometimes she'll come to me and go, how can I do better? What can I have no problem. I'm not like, you son of a, like, I love Lindsay. I want to see her do great. And she's amazing for what she does here. And I want her to win in other areas. So Tatiana, I wouldn't assume, she's now hiring other clients to coach cleaning company owners. That might be a different situation, but A, be clear. B, if you weren't clear, own it. My bad. You didn't do anything wrong. I did it wrong. Let me clarify. Going forward, I don't want to work with anyone that's doing their own thing competitively. So do you want to stop doing your own thing, or should we part friends and you can just do your own thing? And that's if you trust them. If you don't trust them, I'm probably just going to part friends, not because they did anything, just because I can't work with someone I don't trust. And then going forward, I'm going to be just abundantly clear when I get started, just so you know, there's nothing wrong with you starting your own cleaning deal. We just can't have you doing it here. So if you want to do your own thing, totally great. God bless you. Go get them. But you can't work here. And I guess you could trick me and I'll probably fall for it. But we would fire you. And why do that? Why not just, if your heart's desires to go clean your own thing, why don't you just go clean your own thing? So that's it. Lindsay, you kind of got to talk to Tatiana, which is a lot harder to say it than you might think. A lot of T's. Did I wrap that up okay, or are we missing anything?
No, I think you wrapped that up perfectly. Once I got her to clarify things, she was like, "Oh, the technician's out bidding jobs," and I thought, "Oh, that's great." And then I was like, "Wait, do you mean jobs for herself?" So when she explained, "Yeah, that's happening," and then she's asking me to clean, I was like, "Oh," I might have responded with some gifts on that. So if you're not in the Facebook group, join. You can see my awesome.
You're not
gifts.
Getting all the gifts. Yeah, Lindsay is I'm trying to catch up with Lindsay's gift game, but I'm not there yet.
Gift, Jeff. All right, so let's go to the next one. So this is our Instagram question. I think our first official Instagram question, coming from Adrian Kozovich. Sorry if I butchered your name, buddy. Okay,
he's got ma'am. Adrian goes both ways.
Oh, true. Yeah,
remember Rocky?
Very true.
Adrian? Yeah, I was. I'm like, yeah. So Adrian, who are you? What's going on? Who am I talking to? Is this? Are you a ma'am or a sir? What's going on out there?
Oh, I wish I had their picture. Okay, so he or she, they have a few questions. Number one, they're currently facing some struggles with supervision and rotation with supervisors. They're good workers, but they don't think they will know how to work under processes and goals. So Adrian wants to know, how can they switch them from doers, getting the job done, to good leaders? Or should they just start looking for new people?
This is one of those ones I wish we could have talked to them, because I'm a little confused on the question. So we don't teach a supervisor model at all. We don't teach any model where there's anyone that's kind of a choke point. So I don't know why people think a supervisor can be the great thing. Like, oh, these clean, my quality control's not good, I'll get a supervisor to watch them. But all that's really doing is telling whoever the cleaner is, you don't really have any authority or accountability, or I don't expect you to be very good. I'm going to pay Lindsay to watch you. Well, no offense. If I'm paying Mike to clean and Lindsay to go back after Mike and fix her clean or his clean, why do I need Mike? Why don't I just hire Lindsay? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would treat all of my people as owners of their own job. And if they're like, I got to be honest with you, Mike, I'll clean, but I'm not very good at it. So maybe you could have someone else check me and make sure I do a good job. If that's the deal, I'm just going to pass and get a cleaner, right? Like that's just not how it works. The second thing is we way overcomplicate what it takes to be a supervisor. Like, they got to be here 9 months and they got to get a kidney and we have to have a pinky promise with blood. And there's like all this weird things that we think have to have happen. We teach you to have your new people finish their training by training the next new guy or gal. So the more responsibility given more quickly, the more they'll step up to that. The more you say, you're dumb, shut up, sit down, you don't know anything, let someone else do the thinking, the more they'll shut up, sit down, and let someone else do the thinking. So that's that. When you say, how can I switch them to good leaders? Like, well, I don't know who they'd be leading, or I don't understand what the position is. Even up to dozens, sometimes hundreds of cleaners aren't really leaders. Like, you're the leader. Like, so I don't understand what they would be leading, right? So there's a difference, by the way, between managing and leading. So leading is you are the fountainhead of the core values, of the energy, of what you're setting the tone for everything. You're looking ahead and making big decisions that protect the company and look out for its well-being. Just trying to think of what leadership, you'd have to be a multi-million dollar cleaning company to really need leaders. So I guess my answer would be, I wouldn't go supervisors. I would have every cleaner be responsible for their own job and feel like they're a supervisor for their own thing. If they can't do a good job consistently without having someone else watch them, I'm not going to, like pilots, we have co-pilots, because if one guy passes out, we're all going to die. This isn't that. You're only a cleaner. Like you had one job, man. So he's like, I'd like to be a cleaner. Now, to be clear, I'm not very good at it. So I'm gonna need someone to look after me to make sure I do a good job. But Mike's like, come on, man. Like, it's not a hard job. So I think that's the sloppiest answer I've given, but that's as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that.
Hey, amazing people, you may have noticed we don't sell a dadgum thing on this podcast. We don't allow ads. The only ask I can ever have of you guys is if you dig the show, for you to spread the word and share so we can change as many lives as possible. Literally, it'll take you 5 seconds to give us a great review, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you as a listener and value the gift of your kind words. Now, back to the show.
All right, Adrian had one more question, and I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to let him ask two because he's coming from Instagram. This is a big deal, our first Instagram.
We'll go to.
He wants, or they want to know how to get some advice on which KPIs are the most useful for most of the successful cleaning companies.
Yeah, I guess I can give a basic answer. That's something to really nail down. It's one thing to say what they are. It's another to integrate them and understand, to review them and know what they mean. That's a whole longer conversation. So I'll give what I can in the time that we've got. So I always start with the financials, which is revenue. Is it up, down, or flat? Gross profit, right? What do you make after your cost of goods sold? Expenses, net profit. If net profit is going up and hitting goals and gross sales are going up and hitting goals, believe it or not, there's really not a lot of, that's all I really need. Now you're like, that doesn't seem like much. What about turnover and customer happiness and, cost of goods sold? Well, I guess cost of goods sold is in there. How long is it taking people to clean? That's again, cost of goods sold. What about all this other stuff? It's like, well, that's going to show up in the profit, right? Say my business is a mess, but so hours worked, right? Hours worked. So if I'm consistently having sales and profit go up, I'm living my core values. I'm not lying, cheating, or stealing, I'm living my core values, and I'm only working 5-10 hours a week. I don't really care about any of the other numbers. You're like, can I just ignore it? Absolutely. Now, if you had 1 month that's this magical unicorn month and everything's falling apart around you and it's just good on paper, but you don't have any cash, like that's different. But again, if my net profit's good, and it's cash net profit, not paper profit. So if it says I made 10 grand in profit, I actually have 10 grand in cash I can take out of the business without hurting anything. And I'm only working 10 hours a week and not violating core values, I'm good. Now, you're like, well, what if things aren't good? Well, then you need different metrics depending on what's not going on, right? So if your sales are not going well, they're either staying the same or decreasing. I want to look at leads, bids, sales, and customer churn. If my cost of goods out of whack, I'm going to look at my pricing for my customers and how long things are taking and what my payroll costs are, my labor. If my profit's not good and my cost of goods sold is good, I'm going to look at my overhead and be like, okay, what's going on with my expenses? So I let the profit, the gross revenue, gross profit, net cash profit dictate what other things I need to focus on for that month, if that makes sense. So that I can never tell if I'm making sense or talking gibberish. And it's tough because Lindsay's pretty smart. She knows this stuff. So Lindsay might be like, no, that makes perfect sense. But all of Clean Nation's like, that makes no sense. Lindsay, doing your best not you impression, just assuming you're a Clean Nation person. Does that make sense?
That was complete gibberish. And I feel like I need to define each of the terms you use and then look those up on another Grow My Cleaning Company podcast, because we have a bunch of episodes on this. So
okay, cool. So maybe Lindsay will link to
so
that'll be a little more in depth of the financial side of it. But
yeah, we definitely deep dived into it, and I think that'll help. All right. Hey, we got some people in chat. Awesome. All right, so
what's up, chatters?
What's up, chat? There we go. All right, so Michi Mia. That's what I'm going to call you because I can't pronounce your last name and I'll butcher it.
I don't think you pronounced the first name. Michi Mia? That sounds made up.
Okay.
Lindsay's like, moving on. I don't need this crap.
They want to know, how can I get more residential cleaning companies?
Wow.
If Lindsay can read, how can I get more residential cleaning customers? I feel like this economy is killing my cleaning service.
So first of all, guys, gals, when Lindsay's sober, she's awesome. The problem is it's 5:00 Eastern, which is where Lindsay is. So I think we're 50-50 on this. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on in the Bjorklund household at this moment, but apparently she can't read, which is a lot of fun for the rest of us. Okay. In terms of how to get, so we've covered how to get clients residential and commercial ad nauseum, but specifically to I'm getting killed in this economy. Let's just step back and let me give you an overview, if I may, from my perspective. The middle of the road guy is the one that gets killed. So when the economy goes bad, Walmart's fine. People are still going to buy their groceries. Whatever people buy at Walmart, they're going to keep buying it at Walmart. They're the low price provider. They're kind of food, milk, gas. People aren't going to stop buying these things. And they're probably just going to they do well because now the low price provider stands out in a bad economy. The Nordstrom's, I'm trying to think of, I don't do fancy clothes, but my wife does. That's, the Nordstrom's, the high line clothes, restaurants, outlets, they're going to do fine because the guy's worth a ton of money, millions of dollars, or a good net worth. And you're like, oh, the stocks went down. It went from being worth $18 million to being worth $12 million. They're not going to stop eating out. They're not going to stop buying their wife jewelry or clothes or any of that sort of stuff. You're fine. Olive Garden gets slaughtered, right? The guy or gal making $62,000 a year, stuff's getting more expensive. Before he could kind of eat out without too big of a deal, now he's got to pay attention. That guy gets killed. So when it comes to the cleaning industry, if the economy going bad is on the residential side, so for commercial, by the way, it is what it is. They're not. You're going to be the last thing cut. They might fight you a little hard on price, but they're not going to cut it. I can tell you that for sure. So on the residential side, if you're getting a lot of people push back on price, you probably just need to upscale your client, right? Like we do pretty well at our house and things are expensive. And I'm noticing, I feel terrible for a lot of people out there struggling. My wife and I have zero conversations around, can we afford the cleaners? Like it just doesn't come up, or, they're $400 a month. You think we could talk them down to $300? Like it's just not something that happens. So what I wouldn't try and do is be Olive Garden and try and be like, well, we've got a $4.99 all you can eat linguine special, or like go that way and try and like down market to Walmart. I'm going to up market to the people that really are not looking for price. They're looking for a result. They're looking for their time back. Price just isn't an issue. So again, I'd instead of trying harder to sell to the wrong people, I would try harder to find the right person and up your service and give them even, in tighter economies, as opposed to going cheaper. Just, if you're Nordstrom, it's the same amazing experience I had before, but you're going to supercharge it. So go up market, I guess, is the short answer to that, or the long answer to that pretty short question.
Got it. All right. I think we have time to squeeze in one more here. And this is a question I don't think we've ever addressed before, but I see it all the time on the Facebook group. Echo Green Office Cleaning Services wants to know, how do you deal with it when employees quit and they keep company property, like keys to clients' buildings and cleaning equipment? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, great question. So again, without banging that drum too hard, rewind 12 minutes to hire the right people, right? Like I shouldn't say never because I've had a lot of companies, but I don't recall any substantial somebody quit and like tried to steal from me. That's just weird. Like Lindsay's a pretty high integrity lady. And if we parted ways, even poorly, even if I went nuts, I'm like, F you lady, get out of here. And like, I was a jerk about it. I don't think her initial response would be like, I'm going to rob that dude. Like, it's just not, she may be like, what an a-hole, or she might, get frustrated and vent, who knows what she would do, but thievery's I just don't know. She's like, well, I was honest before, but now he's kind of a jerk. So I'm just going to rob him. Like, that's just a weird impulse. Either you're a thief or you're not, right? So if you're like, if I hire thieves, how do I get them to not be thievy? I'm like, wouldn't know. I don't hire thieves. And I get, you're like, well, they don't say they're thieves, dummy. I'm like, I got it. But when you hire based on core values, people that really, truly are having fun, making money, being real and helping out, they just don't think to rob people. Like, it's just not a thing that they would do, right? And Lindsay's laughing when I'm like, if I lost my mind and told her to F off, because she's like, Mike would never do that. Like, it's not because I'm a great guy, just so out of my character to be like, well, screw you, lady. And equally out of my character to treat her poorly if we parted ways, as it would be for her to be like, I'm going to rob that dude. Like, it would just be, or me going, you know what? I haven't paid her last check. I bet if I didn't pay it, I could keep it. Like it would never cross my mind to do that. Just like it would never cross Lindsay's mind to be like, oh, he bought me a laptop, or I've got some sort of property from the company so whatever. Long story short, just hire better people, go core values based. It is a huge red flag. Not that they're stealing crap. It's like, I'm not looking at how do I get my crap back from this guy. I'm like, how do I make sure I'm not hiring thieves? That's the big takeaway here. That said, and you got to do what's legal. I'm not a lawyer. Please don't do anything illegal. If it was legal in the state I was operating in or province, I'm just not going to give them their last paycheck till I get my crap back. But, which I don't think is, like they're, that I would, I'm not trying to steal Lindsay's paycheck, but if she got a $500 laptop and I owe her $500, I'm like, I think we can sort this out pretty fair, lady, So, and again, make sure that's legal. If you can't, you can't, but that's 2% of it, right? If you don't hire, again, I'm much more interested in like, how do I not have fires coming up all the time than I am? How do I put out fires better? Like, how do I get crap back from someone that stole from me? I'm much more interested in the conversation. Why are people stealing from you? Just a weird vibe. And I want to encourage you guys, all we do is help owners of cleaning companies. So I get it if you're like, oh, you're just some rich dude in a coaching thing where people are not, like that. I'm like, true, completely true. But I did own a cleaning company and I've had a construction company. I had a car dealership with, lot attendants and detailers and low wage guys and gals, all the stuff that you guys deal with. I've been there. I promise you. Works exactly the same. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, liars lie, thieves steal, people with integrity generally active in integrity. So short answer, as long as it's legal, keep their check until they give you your crap back. Better answer, look at your hiring process and how to improve it. Okay, I think we're out of time. Anything I'm missing? Anything you want to add, Lindsay, before we call this thing?
No, that's it for today.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, gals, again, if you're digging this party and you'd like to participate, growmycleaningcompany.com's got everything. Join a Facebook group if you want to join live. You put a question in Instagram. My wife, Natalie, actually fiddled that. If she thinks your question's awesome, she'll give it to Lindsay. I'll answer it. And more importantly, if you're like, I need some help, like this is all good, but I need like more in-depth crap, reach out to, you just email me, Mike@growmycleaningcompany.com and be like, I need some help. I will get you on the phone with one of our coaches. We don't charge for that, and see if we can't figure out where you're at, where you want to be, help you come up with a plan. And if you don't dig us, find somebody. Just don't leave this going, well, that was fun and I'm smarter, and then do nothing. Because if nothing changes, it's because nothing's changed, right? So you've got to do something different if you want something different. Take some action. Listen to podcasts is fun, but if you really want to grow a business, it's more about getting the help that you need, taking the action that you need to take. And it doesn't come just by listening, it comes by doing. So go get them, guys.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend. Share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431, 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.